And joining me in studio now is Mr. Matt Chipman. He's the editor-in-chief of the Green Baron Report. Matt, always good to see you.
Good to be here again, Don.
You know, it's always fun to have you in the program because it seems like every time you and I go about 3 or 4 weeks without talking to each other, something massive happens in the markets, either a big jump or a big drop. Haven't had that happen this time. It stayed pretty close towards what it's been the last several weeks.
You know, the market is tending to grind a little lower here. I mean, there are a lot of concern out there. It is typically that time of year where people take some of their risk money off the table. The news coming from Europe is certainly keeping people out of the market right now. And then, of course, we had some issues that happened to our own banks, you know, which we hadn't seen anything negative in a while. But, you know, a $2 billion trading error is certainly something that wakes people up.
Well, I heard an interesting comment on television during the week where they said, you know, it's the stock market. You know, losses happen. I mean, $2 billion is certainly a huge loss. But let's face it, the federal government goes through that amount of money in about 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah, that's true. And Chase is a absolute massive banking company. And so, yes, it's something they can handle, but you certainly don't want to see a trend develop with our banks. They've got enough problems in Europe right now with their banks. You know, we don't want to see that. If people lose confidence in ours, it's not going to bode well for our markets.
Well, we talked about Europe on the program last week at great length at the beginning of the program, and you know, to me, I'm seeing a semblance of a social and fiscal failure over there because we had a plan in place. I should say they had a plan in place to get things straightened out, and the voters just went in and said, no, we still want our free stuff. In France, they don't want to retire at 62. They want to retire at 60. They still, it's like I said, when you give so many people so many free things for so long, it's hard to pull it back.
Well, it is almost at a point where the system is broke, and I hope it's not. I hope that, you know, the governments can eventually implement the systems to protect us all, you know, and I think protect the worldwide money flow and money situation. I mean, at home here, I see a couple of positive things. I mean, I see the retail sales still seem to be strong. I was out in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Money Show. I got to tell you, it was as busy as I've ever seen it during the week out there. You know, and then you saw the jobs numbers come out this morning. There are fewer people, or it's staying about the same, but you're not getting any new filings for unemployment. So you're not seeing layoffs continue. And the jobs picture is really #1 here. You know, if we get more people working, it's more tax revenue.
Yeah, the problem with the jobs number, of course, is there are still those 11 million people that aren't being counted. Because, you know, when they calculate the unemployment rate, they're only looking at the people that have been looking for work during the last 3-month period of time. There are 11 million people that have just exited the job market entirely. Either they've given up or their unemployment benefits have run out. If you added those 11 million people to that number, it wouldn't be 8.1%. It'd be close to 12 or 13%.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. It's the numbers. I think all numbers can be skewed to a point. Some states have taken it upon themselves to, you know, provide and do better for themselves. I mean, I'm reading a lot of data, like, because there's a company we follow that's based out of Dallas, Texas. Texas's unemployment rate is one of the lowest rates in the country, and they continue to show a good growth and a nice stable market there. And you know, I'd like to see other states take their lead.
Well, there's a lot of states now, and Texas probably is taking the lead in that respect, where they said, you know what, we can create jobs in our states if we become more business friendly. I mean, if you have overregulation, overtax, and those kind of situations like, say, California, I mean, it makes it difficult for businesses to survive there, and it's difficult to bring new businesses in or keep existing businesses from leaving. I mean, there was a mass exodus of companies out of California into places like Arizona and Texas for just that reason.
Well, and the good weather in California can't keep companies here forever. So, you know, it certainly would be nice to see California, because we both live here, to see them become more business friendly. I'm hoping one of these days they start implementing changes to make it that way.
Well, it's really interesting because, you know, you and I, in the companies that we have, the Green Baron Report, MoneyTV, we tend to pay attention to new companies, emerging companies, companies that are looking to become the next great thing, the next big story, so to speak. And let's face it, the sector that we've been following has actually been doing fairly well against the face of what has been a down economy these last couple of years.
Yeah, and we've seen some really nice numbers and nice growth from the stocks that we've been following. So, yeah, we do focus on a market of stocks rather than the stock market,
right.
and those companies, you truly have to work hard to identify them, because there are a lot of pitfalls in investing in low-price stocks. Like you know, the ones that we're trying to identify are certainly ones we have put a lot of time and research into looking at before we expose those and talk about them to our members.
Well, it's fascinating to talk to the CEOs of companies that have these new technologies or these new patents or these new ways of doing business. Yeah. I mean, when I think of some of the things that we've talked about on this program in the 16 years that we've been on the air, these are fascinating conversations. Now, for people who want to know about the things that you're following, the Green Baron Report, I know your website is thegreenbaron.com, but how can they get more information about the Green Baron Report?
Well, we have several areas on the site. There's one right in the center where you can just put your email address in and click join, and then we'll send you a confirming email. At any time we send a report out, you can stop receiving our reports. If for some reason, you know, you just decide you're not following what we have to say. But what we find out is we're getting tons of feedback right now, thanking us for a lot of the picks and a lot of the discussions and the exposure that we've been providing to some good companies.
Once again, it's the Green Baron Report. Their website is thegreenbaron.com. Matt Chipman, Editor-in-Chief. Always a pleasure.
Glad to be here again, Don. Thanks.
Take care.